Do the roll call, please.
Commissioner Bartleman.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Parker.
Here.
And Judge Clymer.
Here. We already did a prayer and a pledge. That should stand for this one too, you think?
I think so.
And then first on the order is the consent agenda. I did move, since there was some interest in a discussion of item K on the consent agenda, has been moved to item F on the regular agenda, so we'll get to that.
Do we need to formally approve that move?
No.
Okay.
No, I just got moved. So we do need a motion to approve the consent agenda with that change.
So made. Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, that's approved. And budget transfer, Madam Clerk, or Madam Treasurer?
It is ordered that the necessary cash transfers in the amount of $64,321.35 be made in order to pay county bills and payroll approved August 26, 2019.
So made. Second.
Second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries. Accounts payable.
It is ordered to approve the vouchers claims register from August 12, 2019 to August 26, 2019 to show county bills in the amount of $660,777.63 were paid.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. Then we've got discussion items, a resolution. Let's see, is that the
Okay, so it's this
Pinnacle?
resolution on
Yeah,
this rural secondary program?
Yes.
Okay. It is ordered that a resolution be adopted approving the execution of a rural secondary program agreement between the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and McCracken County to perform bituminous resurfacing in the amount of $233,622 on the following county roads: Brook Hill Lane, CR-1001B4 from the cul-de-sac to 225 South at the end of the asphalt surface; Coleman Cut Road, CR-1211 from Kentucky 1438 to Cross Mill Road; Ladera Lane, CR-1084 from Kentucky 1565 to end of county maintenance; Lantern Way, CR-1001H1 from Nebraska Street to end of county maintenance; and Metcalf Road, CR-1336 from Joppa Landing to Grief Road.
Motion for that?
So made. Second.
Any discussion?
All in favor? No, go ahead. I just want to ask, that's what we got the earlier email on. That's just state pay these roads,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. And so we have on for discussion Pinnacle Sports, and whether we would want to make a decision to hire them. As I think we've discussed it maybe at least once before. Is there an order for at least, or a motion for?
I'll make a motion for discussion, please.
I'll second.
All right, in discussion.
So this is the contract. Remember, this is Norm Gill, who we met with back in April, and the cost of his market demand study is $15,000, $10,000 due upon signing, $5,000 upon submission. In our last meeting, you asked me to check with PACRO, members of the PACRO committee, as to whether they would consider this an acceptable expense under the economic development mission of PACRO. And I've talked to Kevin Neal and Scott Darnell, and both shared with me that they would support it. I suspect also the Sports Commission might support it, although they probably won't have any cash until about January. I think this is something that we're going to be happy that we got in front of. This is information that the Sports Commission is going to need to help make its decisions. It could be that they'll be in a position to make decisions quickly. One of the things that I think Bill maybe was at a meeting, you were at one of the meetings, is with the Expo Center and the possibility of spending some money there on a sports court type outfit that we could be up and running quickly and perhaps even be in a position to host our first tournament February 14th when it comes to the volleyball. So I feel like this is something we want to get ahead of, be prepared to have this information for the Sports Commission, and so I would ask that we go ahead and incur this expense and execute this contract, because it takes about 60 to 90 days for him to do this work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the one thing I want to ensure, I support this now that we have the Sports Commission organized and that we're going to move forward with developing a sports complex. And I remember talking to Pinnacle about this. I want to make sure that they do a legitimate study, that it's an accurate study, and they don't do a study just to justify that we move forward with the sports complex. If it's feasible to do all these things, I want them to tell us. And if it's not feasible, if some things need to be changed and done in a different way, I want them to tell us that. But in the past, I've seen studies done where they gather facts to justify what your goal is, and sometimes they're not totally accurate. And I feel confident in talking to the Pinnacle officials that it will be accurate. I think it's going to be positive. I don't have any indication that they're going to tell us we shouldn't do things, but they can tell us at what level we need to do things. So I feel good about this, that it will be an accurate picture and not a report that just justifies what they think we want to do.
Yeah, I really like the fact, he came down and you and I got to meet with him, and then he came to meet with all of us, and just the ability to assess his credibility and hear from his experience. And as we were looking at the Expo Center the other day, I thought, man, I wish Norm was here, as we're trying to figure out how we would lay out 8 volleyball courts there and make sure that we don't jam them up too close, and don't forget about mom and dads that need a place to sit, and those type of things, because it needs to be designed in such a way that helps us actually market it so that they want to come back. I wished he was here, and so that's one of the reasons I feel like he's got the knowledge to help us.
Also, I think you should have the ability, if I don't want to spend more money than what's in the contract, but if some things need to be looked at that's not mentioned in this report, I think we ought to have the ability to do that. Just to make sure we look at all things. Things may have changed since April when we first got this proposal. So, if maybe this different focus needs to be in different areas, I hope we're able to do that without it costing us more money.
Yeah, we talked to him earlier this week, and he said he would be fine with the contract that he has proposed. I'm looking for Steve Doolittle.
I think he might have gone down to the Sports Commission people.
He and I talked to him, and he said basically we just changed the dates on the other contract, and I'm certain if he has more to give, he'll be willing to give us more for a price, probably. So I would. I guess I guess the order. Maybe don't have an order, but we do have an order.
Yeah, we've got.
We've had one before.
Yeah, it's on here. It's order that the county judge executive is authorized to execute an agreement.
But it's 15,000, isn't that right?
It is 15,000. It's referenced in there. The pro forma financial projections was another 6, but we're not. I don't think we necessarily need that. If you recall, I think that was kind of looking at if we bought the Sportsplex, how we would actually run that operation.
Okay.
And I don't think we're there yet. Was that your question?
Yeah, I'm not good at math, but I'm not that bad either. 10 and 5 and 6 is not 15, so.
Yeah.
So the motion is to, negotiate with this at 15,000, the due upon signing 10,000, the due upon submission of report 5,000.
Right, that's right. And if you notice that parenthetical down there says conditioned market study, so I guess he was thinking that that's what it would be to do the pro forma financial projections once he comes up with. I guess he could do a market demand study and say, you guys are thinking all wrong. You don't need to do this at all, and then there wouldn't be a need for that. But I don't think he's going to do that.
Okay. Any more discussion about it?
Great idea, especially if we're not going to have to pay for it out of our general fund. So I think we need to move forward with it.
And so that's, of course, every time we spend money on certain things that are going to be out of our economic development fund, we like to point that out because that's what that's for. And so this would be out of the economic development or PAC-RO money.
Do we need to amend the order to include that? Under B, do we need to amend the order to say not to exceed $15,000 paid for out of our economic development fund? I would make a motion, we amend it to include not to exceed $15,000 and to be paid out of the economic development fund. If we amend the order and include that.
Yeah, I don't think we even said the language of the order. Yeah, just discussion to do an order.
Yeah.
So that's the original, that could be the original motion, right? To not to exceed, to pay Pinnacle not to exceed $15,000 and pay it out of PAC-RO funds. That's your motion?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Got a discussion, or a second on that?
Second on that.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, that carries.
Now we need to approve the order. That was approving the amendment, right?
Well, okay. So that's what I was saying. I didn't think that I know we had a proposed order on here in certain language, but I don't know that we recited it. What are you saying? That the amended order?
Yeah, what we just voted on was to amend the order to include not to exceed $15,000 to be paid with PAC-RO funds.
Okay.
Now we need to approve the order as amended.
All right. So,
Because we've already second.
all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, that carries.
Well, what was the first motion and second for?
Well, that's where it gets confusing.
I'm confused already.
We had a written order here, but we just talked about do we want to do it or not. But so
I think the first one's for discussion, is what I asked.
yeah.
First,
Yeah.
we'll write the first one up that it authorized us to enter it, and then the amendment was that it was going to come out of PAC-RO funds and not exceed $15,000.
That'll do it. All right. All right, and then we've got a number of folks here to address their tax rates. And so under the Kentucky law, the folks who represent these tax entities are to appear and give testimony, is the language, to the fiscal court as to what their tax rate will be for the coming year. And so we're going to march everybody through here. It's my understanding, I think it's correct, that we really don't have anything much to say about it one way or another as far as they can develop their own tax rate with certain limitations. And it's just a matter, I think it's, I suppose the analysis, the reason, the intent of the statute is that in a public forum, these bodies come forward and publicly say, here's our tax rate. We can get down as deep or as shallow as we want, but the bottom line being we got not much of anything to say about it.
Let's do it.
I tend to try not to get too deep in things that I have absolutely no control over, but so the first one we got on here is McCracken County Extension Board. Is someone from that board?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Robert Tashin with the University of Kentucky Extension Office. and I'm representing the district board. And our board recently voted to take the compensating rate on real property at 4.087 cents per $100.
Okay.
And then on personal property, they voted to take also the compensating rate at 11.0483 cents per $100. If I need to read those again, I'm more than happy to.
11.0483.
Yes, sir.
Just curiosity gets me. Why do we go out 5 digits? 1, 2, 3. Is that?
That's what
just
gets
the way
sent
it's
to me. Exactly, right.
That's the way it's always
It would
been
be a
done.
whole lot easier, wouldn't it? If it was 11.05, that would make more
Tens,
sense.
hundreds,
But yes,
thousands, 10,000.
It's the consequences of the compensating formula. So.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So did the compensating rate go up or down?
they went up in both.
Both.
Yes. Yes. I can read you
How
last year's
much?
if you'd like to hear those.
I'd like to know how much.
Sure. So last year's rate for real property was 3.443 cents. That was on real property. And on personal property last year was 9.0936.
And that's the compensating rate?
That is
and
the
not-
compensating
it's
rate.
not the 4% increase?
No, it is not. I can read you the 4% if you'd like that, but we did not, no.
Okay. Any other questions? No? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I didn't catch your last name, sir. What?
Tashin.
Tashin.
Tashin, like fashion, but Tashin with a T.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right, and then McCracken County Public Library.
I'm Susan Byer with the McCracken County Public Library, and I do have a handout. May I approach you with it, please?
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of took your path away, didn't we?
Would you mind passing it? Thank you so much. Those are some stats from year end that we thought would be a good snapshot of the impact of our organization. Regarding our tax rate, our library board voted to take less than the compensating rate and to keep our rate the same as last year. And those numbers are for real estate, 6.1 cents per $100. For personal property, 8.41 cents per $100. And motor vehicles, 5 cents per $100. Again, that is less than the compensating rate.
All right. Any questions, discussion?
Well, I know sometimes you may hear me. You probably don't because we only have 18 viewers, but sometimes I do bring up the library because you're the next closest to our rate.
Sure.
And, but I guess I do want to take time to say that you guys, you are the best library in the state.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot.
I didn't realize there was that big of a crowd here, but I'm really glad I said it now.
You bring a chair section, Susan, or?
Sometimes.
Well, and I think we're all very appreciative of the step you took with the Sprocket Initiative
Yes.
in finding new ways to use your funds for our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're excited about the partnership.
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
And the bookmobile.
All right, and then we have Health Department, McCracken County Health Department.
I'm Claudia Stoffel, board member for the McCracken County Health Department with Elizabeth Smithson, who is the administrator. And we are asking, for the last 40 years, our rate has been 2.4 cents per 100 across the board.
2.4 across the board. Okay.
And you're not taking an increase?
I'm sorry, what?
You're not asking for an increase?
No.
So when we hear the news of the pension, we hear of health departments and the quasi, is that not impacting
Yes,
you?
it is. We're looking year to year as to exactly what will happen. But right now, we do have sufficient reserves to be able to hold it where it is, and we don't feel it's the right thing to ask the McCracken County residents to give us more money at this point. Most likely there will be an increase coming because of what the pension requires, but at this particular time, this is where we want to stay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Cracken County Mental Health.
Hello, Judge Clymer, Commissioners. My name is Kurt Langston, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Four Rivers Behavioral Health, which is the mental health taxing district in McCracken County. We are choosing to keep our rate the same as it was last year, which also happens to be the compensating rate for both real and personal property, and that is 1.2 cents per 100.
Any questions? All right, good news.
Thank you.
Let's see, Paducah Junior College. Right here from PJC.
That's actually a rate that the county sets. When we set our tax rate, we set that rate for the college.
No?
So that'll be something that we will do between now and the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Concord Fire Department.
County Judge, Commissioners, my name is Jim Rogers. I'm Chairman of the Concord Fire Protection District. With me is Ron Miller, he's our treasurer. Our tax rate is 0.075 for real property. That's been our same tax rate for about the past 9 years.
So you're staying where you're at?
Staying where we're at.
We appreciate that.
Tangible as well, yes. Of course, everything's filed with the Department of Local Government. Anybody that wants to, they can see all the budget, amended budget, last year's budget on the DLG.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hendon Fire Department.
I'm Doug Cooper, Chief of the Hendon Fire Department, and our board has elected to take a 4% increase that will change our rate. Currently, it was 0.0725, and we're raising it to 0.0755. No, that's across the board.
What was the prior rate?
0.0725, and we're raising it to 0.0755.
Why the increase? I mean, just.
We are in the process of building a new station with our operating expenses the way they are, operating out of the old station, trying to keep it up until we can get the new station built. We just, our board decided that we needed a small increase. They chose the 4% increase, and they chose this tax rate.
How many stations does your district have?
We have two. We have our main one, which is the old Hendon Elementary School that we converted into a station. That's the one that we're planning on replacing. And then we've got a two-base station in Fremont. It's on Mayfield Road in Fremont.
Questions? Comments? No?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Lone Oak Fire Department. Oh, nobody here from Lone Oak?
So now what do you do?
Well,
Guess we invite them back.
now we look.
Well, they've submitted a form. I can read what they put on
they
their
did?
form, I guess.
I think we'll need them to come to our next meeting, though, because the law's pretty clear.
That says testimony.
Even though it's just a verbal
A
2-minute
document's
report.
not testimony,
Pass
I would
over it.
think. Yeah, I suppose. We'll have the document there, but Are we under any kind of crunch? We're not, I guess, are we? Right. Well, anybody want to lower it?
Yeah, anybody want to lower the lawn fire?
Maybe we just elect somebody real fast.
I see Mr. Holland out there.
All right, we'll put them back on for next meeting then. On the fire department, Melbourne New Hope Fire Department.
I'm Frank Mazook, Treasurer, Melbourne New Hope Fire District. And my wife, Mary, is Secretary. Our compensating rate is the same as it has been for the past 5 years, 0.043 across the board.
All right. Question, comment?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Lone Oak Fire Department.
I think they were on there
Oh,
twice.
yeah, they are on there twice.
And they're not here twice.
That's 2 times.
Have to issue a bench warrant.
At West McCracken Fire Department.
My name is Don Lilrod. I'm Chief of West McCracken Fire Department. I too have a handout if it's okay if I.
Sure.
And if some of this stuff we'll talk to offline, but I wanted to save the stamp.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. He needs one back. There you go.
You don't have memorized, Chief?
I usually talk too much, so I'm trying to get my talking points here and get them compressed. The Board of Directors of West McCracken Fire District has set the rate at .069 per $100 assessment, and that's what it's been for the last 3 years. That expected collections are estimated to be approximately $150,000. As some of you know from the past, we've now lost, since the closing down of the operation at USEC, we've lost $1.75 million in income. But we're lucky we don't have any indebtedness. Everything's paid for, and we'll make it.
You have 3? How many stations do you have?
2.
2.
Have one proposed station, which we bought the land for, but we're not able right now at this income to build that station.
Where were you going to build it?
Build it out on Bethel Church Road, right almost across the street from Bethel Church. And that reminds me, Mr. Barr, you asked me a question last year if we went and annexed the part of the rest of the county that's not in there, how much would we make? And estimated now is only $6,000 from what we take on. So when you go out and annex land, that in a fire department, it's many years before you get the return, for that portion of the county to pay its own way. But that's just the way it's always worked. But it's in my eyes, it's still worth it to go out there and get those people the fire protection that they deserve, to bring their insurance rates down, as well as get the response from a nearer fire station.
How far is your station from USEC?
That station or the main station? The main station is about 2.5 miles from USEC, and that station actually borders up on the proposed station borders up on DOE property. You can throw a rock into its property, and then Station 2 over at Future City is about 2 miles from USEC.
Okay, the proposed site for a new station's right at the entrance of DOE, or?
Yeah, well, the old road, the old Bethel Church Road on the back side.
The old road that's washed out or tore out?
Yeah, well, part of it is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so is there something working with DOE about the possibility of partnering with them?
DOE, I've worked on it for 5 years. They went to somebody that oversees the DOE budget for the whole United States, and they said they could not pay a fire department that has to respond within its district to all fires, and we do have to by KRS 75, and so they do not pay. There is something working. We have a automatic aid agreement that's working between our fire department and their fire department, and so we're starting to pick up 2 firefighters and an officer on all structure fires. So that is helping us as far as fire response. It does not help us any as in our budget.
They want a exclusive fire department for them.
They have a fire department of their own.
Yeah, I know they do, but I mean, what you're saying, they don't want to partner with a fire department that's not their own unless that department says you're all we're going to serve. Is that
part of that? Is not only they want to do something, but they want us to, if we do it, to be able to meet DOE orders as well as meet NFPA and ISO and all the rest of the things we go to. I worked for both DOE in 2 different times in the NRC in the middle. Meeting DOE orders is plumb outside what a normal fire department does. So it would cost tons of money to train everybody and get all the support services that you would need to do that. I mean, I still believe it one day will merge. I think we're working toward that, but it's slower than was assumed.
as of right now, we don't have tons of money?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you got Lonoc here now.
Oh, do we?
Dr. Smith,
Yes,
you
sir.
with Lonoc?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come on up, Dr. Smith. Roanoke Fire Department.
Good evening, Judge, all commissioners. I'm Irv Smith, Board Chairman at Lone Oak. Sorry, I thought I was early for the 6 o'clock meeting, and turned out I'm late for the 5 o'clock meeting. But our Board of Directors voted to keep our tax rate the same rate this coming year, 0.047.
0.047, okay. That's what we decided when you weren't here. Right?
We started lower before you had.
Well,
Any discussion?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you all.
Let's see, Midwest McCracken, then Reedland Farley.
I'm Rick Archer, the chief of Reedland Farley Fire Department, and our board voted to maintain our current tax rate at 0.71, which is what it's been for the past several years.
0.79.
7.1.
7.1.
Yeah.
Okay. 0.71. All right. Anything? No.
Nope. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, sir.
I want to comment and thank the work that's done by all of these quasi-government agencies that are run by volunteers mostly, especially the fire departments. Rick's leaving. Rick came to visit me, my wife at our house about a year or two ago. I was out of town and we had a little incident there, and he was at our house in, I think, 3 minutes from the time she called. These volunteer fire departments do an excellent job throughout the county. If we had to pay for the service we had, we couldn't afford the tax rate, and the taxpayers probably couldn't afford to pay, but we really appreciate the work done by all of these agencies and the services they provide. A lot of those are done by volunteers and spend a lot of time. I know the fire departments, the training they do, the certification they have to meet to be volunteers takes a lot out of their personal time, and I think we all just appreciate the work that's done to provide these services and protect the citizens of McCracken County.
Well, I think, yeah, we'd all like to do that. I mean, I've never served on a volunteer fire department, but seeing them coming and going and people train a lot, and so just what you said is exactly right.
I kind of want to know whether you or Carla started the fire.
It was, anyway, it all worked out.
There's
There's your answer.
All right, let's see, I see nothing under old business. We've got court orders. Actually, already did this. Did we already do the A there? Or did we not? The rural municipal aid?
No, we did the resolution.
resolution.
Oh, we
on
didn't
page
do the
4.
order?
We
Okay.
didn't do the order.
All right, so we've got several court orders. And clerk?
We ready?
Yes.
It is ordered that the McCracken County Judge Executive is authorized to execute the agreement between the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid, and McCracken County for bituminous resurfacing.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered that a bid opening was held on Friday, August 16th, 2019, at 1:00 p.m. in the McCracken County Sheriff's Office. Said bid opening was for the purchase of specified equipment services for 4 2019 Dodge Durango Special Service vehicles. 3 bids were received and taken under advisement.
So made.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries.
It is ordered that the bid submitted by Trent Grief for the purchase of specified equipment services for 4 2019 Dodge Durango Special Service vehicles is accepted. The amount of the bid was $32,624.48.
So made.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered to pay Progressive Bike Ramps the final payment of $39,371.43 for construction and installation of a Skills Loop Trail at the County Recreational Complex.
So made.
Second.
And any discussion?
Well, I do want to say, I rode out and took a look at this, and this looks fun, and I think it's going to be something that we hear more about as time goes on. I think we can't take credit for this. I think this was Bob Leeper's project, but I think it's going to be a real positive project.
I guess Bill can a little bit.
Look at Bill, you can.
It amazes
Out there riding on it yet?
Yeah, right. I'm walking, so I apparently didn't ride, or I wouldn't be. I think these facilities we put in at the park, it amazed me, we put in a pump track, and I never even heard of a pump track, but went out there one day to look at the pump track, and there must have been 30 or 40 people out there using it. And I think that's used regularly, and it's just amazing what that's done to add to the recreation availabilities in the city and county. And that was done in cooperation with the city. The city said, here's something that needs to be done. That'd be a good location to do it, and we worked with the city to pick that as a project over the last 2 years for both these, the bike trails and things like that. So and again, Judge Leeper deserves the credit for it. He's the one that really initiated that.
All right. I lost track. That was just discussion. We hadn't voted.
That's right, we had not.
Yeah, we're done with that.
We did vote? Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, and the next,
It is ordered that $8,196 be paid to Kentucky State Treasurer for 2019-2020 Notice of Payment House Bill 388.
So made.
Second.
any discussion?
I've asked about this every year, what it is, and it's explained to me every year, and I still don't understand it.
Public defender allotment.
And we have to pay them.
We have to pay the state, because I guess we don't pay for the public defender, so that's, I don't know. It's the same amount every year.
That's all we have to pay?
That's all we have to pay the state for that, yes.
That's a pretty good deal.
All right, all in favor, aye.
All right.
Opposed, no. Carries. And then we've got that, as F was what was it, K from the, found that. There it is, K on the consent agenda.
It is ordered that Kara Dotson is hired as an office clerk in the County Judge Executive's Office effective September 1st, 2019. at a salary of $12 per hour totaling $25,000 annually, less statutory deduction, subject to further orders of the court.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? None? All in favor, aye? Oh,
Let me just say, there may be some question about this. We were provided some figures that I think 5 years ago, the judge's office had, I think, in addition to having a deputy judge, had 3 additional employees in there, I believe. And the cost of operating that office, including the judge's salary, the deputy judge executive, and others, was in excess of, I think, $260,000, if I remember those numbers correctly. The cost now is significantly less, and adding 1 person to that will not increase it beyond what was used in that office before. I think the judge makes a good argument that having 1 person answer the telephone, direct traffic, deal with issues to help the judge and to help the deputy judge, and also probably the compliance officer for the zoning. It's very distractive. It's probably like herding sheep at times to try to keep up with all that. And I think we do need somebody in there who can answer the telephone and help to alleviate and reduce the burden on the 1 employee we have in there now. I think it will make the office a lot more efficient operating. It will allow more to be done. And I think while some may question that we're hiring another person in a time of budget crunch, I think it's going to pay off in the long run for the benefits of that. In the future, we hope to hire a grant administrator, and this person also will help with the grant administrator, and that will reap benefits for the county. So while there may be some concerns about it, I think after reviewing all the information provided by the judge, knowing how the office operates, and at times it's very hectic in there, I think it's a good investment of our money to hire somebody at this rate. It's not a whole lot of money, but it'll really pay dividends in the long run.
Well, I think it's good that we're getting ready for what you campaigned on. Almost every time I heard you campaign, that's hire a grant writer, and I think we're gearing up and getting ready for that. And I think this will be a good step in that way. We'll be ready for them to hit the ground running when we get there.
well, and I want to say as well that I'm really proud to be a part of this team that's here, and with all the folks that we have, really as far out as you want to go. But and I was mentioning to you just a little while ago, I would be surprised if there is, and I got accused of hubris before, so I can't talk too much about it, I guess. But we do, I think, a really good job. We really get out there, and we've got Mr. Doolittle helping us, who's experienced in these things. Of course, Bill's been on for a previous term. And we out there and we dig and we work and we try to find ways to get us in good shape and try to provide services for the county residents and work with the city. And I was thinking today, thinking out loud to somebody that, this job wouldn't be so difficult if you just sat and didn't try to do anything. And I'm not accusing anybody of that. I'm just saying we are out there, I think, really working hard to try to find ways to get us in even better shape and look at things that we provide for the community and all that. It's time consuming. It's a lot of headaches. I'm traveling quite a bit to meetings and back and forth, and I know you gentlemen are putting a lot of time into it. Deputy Doolittle puts an inordinate amount of time. County Attorney Vicky as well, my assistant, and it will be a tremendous help to have somebody to catch the foot traffic, the phone traffic. There's we get about 1,100 phone calls in and out of my office a month. and then, of course, people coming in and foot traffic and all that. So extremely busy place. And those people, of course, say it's a distraction. It's just something else that has to be done. And but it does take us away from our work that we're trying to focus on sometimes to catch phones. Seems like about 75% of them are wrong numbers. Dickie can handle that emotionally better than I can. But anyway, so I'll put that in there. That was the discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, that carries. Let's see, are we to? Was that all on the orders? That was all on the order.
Yes, we're in ordinance A.
I lost my spot.
I think that's where we are.
It is hereby ordered that pursuant to KRS Chapter 67, the second reading of ordinance number 2019-08 shall be conducted in summary format as follows. An ordinance amending the McCracken County zoning and subdivision regulations set forth in McCracken County ordinance number 2015-09 as amended by making revisions and amendments to the zoning regulations pertaining to permitted land uses in areas zoned as commercial, agricultural, and rural residential, and revisions and amendments to the subdivision regulations related to plat approval, submission procedure, and county road specifications. The action effectuated in the present ordinance is authorized and required by Kentucky Revised Statutes, Chapter 100, and operates to amend the McCracken County zoning ordinance regulations by designating the following as permitted uses in the following zoned areas: automotive services and crematory services in agricultural districts, crematory services in rural residential districts, and banking and financial services in commercial districts. Additionally, the permitted uses in commercial districts were amended to remove the future use of establishing two-family dwellings, thereby limiting future residences to multi-family dwellings with a maximum density of 2,000 square feet per unit. Further, the ordinance amends the McCracken County subdivision regulations as follows. Procedural changes are made to the plat approval submission process, and updates were made to the process for acquisition of information related to McCracken County road specifications. It is hereby certified by the McCracken County Fiscal Court that the present summary represents an accurate official statement of the main points of and contents of ordinance number 2019-08. Ordinance number 2019-08 shall be available for public inspection in its whole and complete form in the McCracken County Judge Executive's office during ordinary business hours.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, no.
Let me ask a question that we've approved that. Did we get any input from anybody who had any concerns about this ordinance? Any comment or anything significant?
I reached out to both Higdon and Falconite, and they didn't voice any. Explained the ordinance to them, and they were going to think about it, and none of them expressed any concern.
Okay. I didn't get any calls. I just wondered. Okay. Thank you.
We voted that, right? Yeah. Okay, and let's see, we already did this resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything we need for executive session? Not that I know of. No? How about an adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
Got a motion, second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
No, or adjourn.